Hello everyone, welcome you all to this new video. So in my previous video, I had started with module 5 that is related to power amplifiers where we have seen the classes of operation that is class A, class B, class C amplifier along with the ideal responses of those amplifier with the phase shift difference we have seen the basic differences between these three operations. Along with that, we have seen the coupling part and the DC and AC load line analysis of the power amplifiers, how it is done by comparing it with the voltage divider biasing amplifier. Okay, so those who have not seen the previous video, please go and watch it. So now in this video, we are going to be discussing with the class A operation of the class A amplifier. Okay, what is this basically class A operation? I've told you already. Class A means that the complete 360-degree shift would be taking place and you would be getting the full sinusoidal waveform, right? So that is basically the class A amplifier. Now, based on that, how the operation is conducted and which kind of amplifier is used, power gain, then efficiency, all of the parameters of this class A amplifier we are going to be discussing in this video. Okay, so stay till the end, guys. Don't skip any part of the video. So along with the numerical examples also I would be discussing, so you cannot be skipping any part of the video. Okay, now only I'm telling you guys. Yeah. So the VDB amplifier of the figure 12.8a, that is this figure, is basically the example of a class A amplifier. Why? Because for a class A amplifier, the complete voltage swing at the small signal operation could be obtained. So you could be simply whatever the VDB amplifier is obtained, right? That only is your class A amplifier. Okay, so there is no difference between the VDB amplifier and the class A amplifier. It is one and the same. Okay, so once again I'll tell you, this is the basic VDB amplifier, which can be also written in terms of class A amplifier. Because if we compare the VC curve, that is the VI curve, with respect to small signal operation of AC versus DC, you would be getting the complete periodic waveform with from 0 degree up to 360 degree, right? So that's why you could be simply giving it as an example of a class A amplifier. Okay, as long as the output signal is not clipped. Okay, so this is one condition you need to be noting it down. This could be only called a class A amplifier as long as the output signal, that is this V out, is not clipped. Clipped means it cannot be getting changed. Okay, for one full cycle the output should be remaining constant. With this kind of amplifier, collector current flows throughout the cycle, which could be stated in another way that no clipping of the output signal occurs at any time during the cycle. Okay, so this is the basic part of a class A operation. Now one by one, all the parameters let us check, starting from the power gain of the class A amplifier. Okay, so besides the voltage gain, any amplifier would be having a power gain, and that power gain is defined as AP is equal to P out by P in. Okay, where P out is the output power and P in is the input power. Okay, in total this is the power gain of the class A amplifier. Okay, in other words, the power gain equals to the AC output power divided by AC input power. Okay, so this thing is clear, right? Power gain. Now next is the output power of a class A amplifier. How it is defined as, if we measure the output voltage of the figure 12.8a, that is in this figure, V out is here, right? If you measure the output voltage in RMS volts, the output power is given by P out is equal to V RMS square divided by RL, because at this stage the resistor here is RL, that is the load resistance, but the actual equation for power in terms of voltage is given by P is equal to V square by R, right? So the RMS voltage you need to be considering, so that's why the output power at this stage is VRMS square divided by RL. Why? Because at the output side we are having the load resistance. Okay, so that's why in this way you could be simply writing the output power, but usually we measure the output voltage in peak to peak volts, right? So and that peak to peak volts would be obtained by using the oscilloscope. In that we would be getting the peak to peak voltage, right? But in this case, a more convenient equation is to be using for output power, that is P out is equal to V out square divided by 8 times RL. Why 8 times? That is given here. You see here the factor of 8 in the denominator occurs because peak to peak voltage is 2 root 2 RMS. Okay, so 2 root 2 VRMS is the total peak to peak voltage obtained for a class A amplifier. Okay, so when you square this, okay, because we know that this it's a square should be written, so that's why here now if you 2 root 2 the whole square, if you do it, you would be getting 8. So that's why you would be writing it as 1 by 8 times V out square by RL. Okay, so that is equal to V out square divided by 8 RL. So the maximum Output power occurs when the amplifier output voltage and the maximum output power is given by P out max. That is, P out max is equal to MPP the whole square divided by 8 RL. So this is with respect to maximum peak to peak output voltage. Okay, because the peak to peak value is 2 root 2 RMS and the maximum value is obtained when we uh, obtain the load resistance in terms of 2 root 2. So that's why the P out max is MPP square divided by 8 RL. Okay, so hope this is clear. Now let's get to the one more factor that is called as transistor power dissipation. So for the class A amplifier, the power dissipation equation is simply given by PDQ is equal to VCEQ divided by, sorry, VCEQ into ICQ. Okay, here when no signal drives the amplifier in the above figure, the quiescent power dissipation is given by PDQ is equal to VCEQ into ICQ. Okay, this makes sense because it says that the quiescent power dissipation is equal to the DC voltage times the DC current. Okay, here these two factors are DC voltages and DC current, where DC voltage is the collector to emitter voltage VCE, okay, in terms of Q point, and IC is the collector current. Okay, totally this is the power dissipation obtained for a class A amplifier. Okay, next is the drain current. As shown in the figure, the DC voltage source has to supply a DC current, that is IDC, to the amplifier. This DC current has two components. One is the biasing current through the voltage divider and the collector current through the transistor. Okay, but the DC current is called as current drain of the stage, because if you have a multi-stage amplifier, you have to add the individual current to the total current drain. That is, if you consider this circuit, in this the drain terminal, that is with respect to current drain, you would be having the base and emitter terminals, so that at the body side you won't be obtaining any initial voltage VCE, right, between collector and emitter. So that's why you would be obtaining this drain current, so that the total current drain would be biasing towards the components of transistors between emitter and collector terminals. Okay, now the efficiency is very important. Efficiency is calculated by the DC power supply. That is the DC power supply to an amplifier by a DC source is PDC, that is given by VCC into IDC. Okay, now to compare the power amplifiers, we can use the efficiency which is defined by neta. Okay, that is P out divided by PDC into 100%. Okay, so this is the efficiency of a class A amplifier. Okay, so this formula you need to be remembering for efficiency of a class A amplifier. Okay, nearly 78% would be the efficiency for a class A amplifier. Okay, yeah. So these many things are the parameters of this amplifier. Now with one simple example, let us try to solve one question related to class A amplifier. Okay, yeah. So you see here, this is the example question here. If the peak to peak voltage provided to this amplifier is 18 volt and the input impedance is given by 100 ohms, what is the power gain of this amplifier? Okay, so this is the question given here. Now let us try to solve this. Initially, this is the circuit given where VCC is equal to 30 volt, peak to peak voltage, that is given as 18 volt, then collector resistance is 120 ohm, load resistance is 180 ohm, the emitter resistance is 20 ohm, R1 and R2 are basically 490 ohm and 68 ohms. Okay, so now if you try to write the DC AC equivalent circuit for this amplifier, you would be getting somehow like this, where V in is 200 millivolt peak to peak, then these three resistors 490, 68 as well as 100 ohms, because at this side we are having 120 minus 20, because this complete would be equivalent, right? Because if you take the transistor, these two would be in series, but based on the characteristics of the NPN transistor, this could be getting subtracted, so we would be getting 100 ohm, and this would be replaced by a current source, then this 120 ohm and 180 ohm in parallel. Okay, now as shown, you could be calculating the Z in stage. That Z in stage is basically these three resistors in parallel. You could be just doing the parallel connection here, do the parallel connection, and you would be getting the answer as 37.4 ohm at the impedance Z in stage. Okay, now the AC input power. Input power is basically the peak to peak value 200 millivolt divided by 8 times the resistor, that is load resistor, right? Or the, in this case, you need to be calculating the Z in stage. So 200 millivolt square divided by 8 into 37.4, you would be getting 133.7 microwatt. Okay, this is the input power, and the AC output power is simply 18 volt square. We know that 18 volt is the peak to peak voltage mentioned here. Okay, this is the actual peak to peak voltage of the amplifier. Okay, yeah, square divided by 8 times the load resistance, that is RL. If you calculate it, you would be getting 225 milliwatt. Okay, Now the power gain is P out divided by P in, that is 225 milliwatt divided by 133.7 microwatt. You would be getting somehow nearly equal to 1683 approximately. Okay, so this is the power gain produced. Now for the same circuit, they have told us to find the transistor power dissipation and efficiency in the next example. Okay, here in order to find the power dissipation and efficiency, you need to be first calculating the DC emitter current. Okay, that is IE. IE is calculated by 3 volt divided by 20 ohm. Where this 3 volt comes from? Okay, you see here 3 volt how it comes from, and wait once. Yeah, IE is equal to 3 volt divided by 20 ohm. Okay, so here from this figure, if you see, 20 ohm is the uh, emitter resistance, and 3 volt would be coming from the calculation with respect to the peak to peak value generated. Okay, so that is 3 volt divided by 20 ohm. IE is equal to VE divided by RE. So this is 150 milliamps, the emitter current. Now the collector voltage VC, that is equal to VCC R2 and R1 plus R2. Okay, VCC is 30 volt minus 150 milliamps. What is 150 milliamps? This IE. So VC is equal to VCC minus IC into RC. Okay, we know that IC is nearly equal to IE only. So 150 milliamps, and RC, that is 120 ohms, right? RC is 120 ohms. So that you substitute it here, we would be getting 12 volt. That is the DC collector voltage. And the DC collector to emitter voltage VCEQ is 12 volt minus 3 volt. That is VC minus uh, VE. Okay, VC minus VE is VCE. So we will be getting 9 volt. Then the transistor power dissipation formula you already know, PDQ is equal to VCEQ into ICQ. That is VCEQ is 9 volt. 150 milliamps is the collector current. Okay, with respect to Q point. Okay, because IC is equal to IE. So that's why if you multiply it, you would be getting 1.35 watt as the transistor power dissipation. Okay, power dissipation is done. Now efficiency. First, to find the efficiency, we require the P out divided by P DC. Okay, the output power is required along with the DC input power. Okay, how that is calculated? For that, first you need to be calculating the bias current. Okay, bias current is given by 30 volt divided by 490 plus 68. That is R1 plus R2. Okay, R1 plus R2 and 30 volt. 30 volt is initially the parameter which you need to be finding for stage efficiency. Okay, so that is given here. I'll tell you where it is given. 18 volt is there, right? 18 volt is the peak to peak, and the additional 12 volt would be from the DC collector voltage. Okay, so the total voltage would be 18 plus 12, that is 30 volt. Okay, so that 30 volt you need to be keeping it here divided by the R1 plus R2, that is 490 ohm plus 68 ohm. Totally you would be getting 538 milliamps. Then IDC, that is the DC current, that is equal to bias current plus ICQ. That is bias current is 53.8 milliamps, and ICQ we have calculated here it as 150 milliamps, right? So that is substituted here, we would be getting 203.8 milliamps here, and the DC input power to the stage could be calculated by PDC is equal to VCC into IDC. VCC is 30 volt, IDC is 203.8 milliamps, so we would be getting 6.11 watt. Okay, so since the output power we have found it in the previous example, that is P out, we have already found it, that is 225 milliwatt. That only we would be substituting it here, that is the efficiency is equal to P out divided by PDC. Okay, so P out is 225 milliwatt, PDC is 6.11 watt. Okay, if you solve it into 100%, you would be getting the answer as somehow the efficiency would be nearly equal to 3.68 percentage. Okay, so these were the two examples for the class A amplifier. If you want, you please note it down. Okay, yeah, so that's all for this video, guys. So in the next video, you will be discussing with one more kind of amplifier, that is class B amplifier. Okay, so that's all, guys. Thank you.